I am here with Marilyn Fowler, who's been a social justice and women's rights activist since the 60s. She is the founder of the Women's Intercultural Network, an organization that connects women across the globe. Unfortunately, Marilyn recently received a rent increase. Her landlord wants to triple her rent. And Marilyn, you have been in this apartment for 23 years.
Since 1992.
1992.
Right.
And how shocked were you when you received this
I was,
letter?
I was stunned, and actually what happened is that someone had rang my doorbell on a Friday in end of August, and I couldn't understand her. A lot of times people will hire immigrants here in the city to serve notices because they can manipulate them, and they figure that, you know, they won't lie. So when I answered, I couldn't understand her, so I didn't open the door, and I didn't even go down. And she kept buzzing, but she kept asking. I couldn't understand. I said, "I'm sorry. Are you okay? I can't understand you." So I didn't even go downstairs that weekend. Maybe I was sick or something. So I think I picked up my mail on a Tuesday. My mailbox had been tampered with. I had to turn it into the post. That's another story. Maybe it was a coincidence. In there was a letter and a postal notice to pick up a certified letter. So when I read the letter, I was shocked. You know, he wanted to raise me $2,200 a month, which over the year would equal $27,000 more dollars. You know, I could go buy a house. So I was so stunned that I didn't know what to do or think, and I kind of didn't even deal with it for a couple of weeks because I was traumatized. And I don't think I had been that traumatized over anything since one of my sons died. I mean, I'm emphasizing that this is what it does to people, to think suddenly you're going to be thrown out of where you have lived 23 years. I thought this guy would have at least come to me and said, I need to raise the rent, what can we negotiate? But I have no place to go because there is now no place in the city of San Francisco that I can afford, and many other people, which is why we are trying to help now organize more people, particularly in the Haight neighborhood.
And for those of you who don't live in the city, an average one bedroom is about $3,500 right now, and the price continues to go up.
Right.
So you have lived here for 23 years.
Yes.
You've always paid your rent on time.
Yes.
And I understand that your son has done most of the improvements in the apartment.
Yes. Yeah, and I wouldn't say improvements, I would say fixing.
Okay, so maintenance.
I have the same rugs, the same draperies. Nothing has been done in any kind of renovation as the other 3 units have in the building. And when anything breaks, if my son can fix it, he comes up from Los Angeles. And he's fixed wiring and stuff, but he can't fix plumbing. So I do have to call if there's a plumbing issue. I've had several burglaries here, by the way, because the place is not safe. People leave the garage door open. People even broke in my window. It's not safe. I found the door open, the back door open out of the garage the other day. So I've had several burglaries over the years, and I don't get reimbursed. If I lose something, if something breaks, I had water damage 3 times this summer, I pay for it.
Out of your own pocket?
Out of my pocket. And I lost a lot of medicine out of the medicine cabinet under the sink, and I was not allowed to turn in insurance to the Homes Association. So I can't, right.
So your letter said you either have to pay triple rent or move out by November 1st.
Right.
Okay, so November 1st is right around the corner. It's a week away.
A week away.
Right.
Right.
What are your plans?
My plans are that I went to the Asia Pacific Islanders Legal Outreach, who are very good. There are a lot of other tenants groups here that can be helpful. Right. I happen to know people in the city that said, go to API. I have an attorney there, a housing attorney, that will be working with me to try and negotiate my way out so that I get more time. I can't pack. I have polymyalgia rheumatica, which is a joint issue. I had cancer. I have other health issues. I'll be 84 years old next week.
Wow.
And so this was my birthday present from my landlord. So I have no place to move, and I don't have the money to pack and move. So we will be negotiating more time, and we'll be negotiating moving money.
You are also talking about the fact that this is about you, but it's also about the city and about the activists and about the nonprofits that have been in the city for so long. We had a community meeting this morning. Talk a little bit about what you're seeing, because you know a lot of people in the city. You've been working as an activist since the 60s. What concerns you the most about all of the evictions that you're seeing right now?
Well, most of all, I'm concerned about the old women. That's why we called it No City for Old Women, because I know other older women that have been put out, handicapped, elderly of any sex, any age, whatever, they don't know their rights, and apparently over the years tenants have lost their rights instead. And this is supposed to be a progressive city. Progress, because we have lots of big new buildings, which none of us can afford. That's not progress. There has been no progress for the people in this city. That's my concern. And then, as I said, of course we're losing artists and writers and culture. But my big concern is that we're also losing the women's policy advocates who have been famous in this city. This is Nancy Pelosi's district. Nancy Pelosi's daughter, by the way, is on our side. She did a film called San Francisco 2.0 that's telling the story and the concern about what's happening to the culture here. And we're going to lose our political base. That's my concern. So the landlords here and Ron Conroy, who bought the city, they're doing what the right wing was never able to do, and that is change the political culture of San Francisco.
You know of a lot of nonprofits that have left San Francisco.
Yes.
It's going to be so interesting. We've got a very important election in a week and a half, 11 propositions. I just wonder if all of these new people moving to San Francisco are going to bother to vote, and how are they going to vote?
I don't think so. I talked to some of the young ones, here in the neighborhood, and they, in the first place, they're not registered in San Francisco. They're moving in from other places, maybe even out of state. So no, they're not going to be voting. They don't know what a proposition is.
Talk about the trauma also involved in this, Marilyn, and the stress that this has caused you, because that's the one aspect, I think, of evictions that we're not talking about. People are just trying to make ends meet and figure out where they're going to go. How do they get the legal advice they need? How are they going to fight this? But at the end of the day, it's a very traumatic experience.
What I don't do victim. I don't get into that, and I'm refusing to do that. But you automatically, it goes in the gut. It's like, how could this guy do this to me? How could he throw me on the street when I have taken care of his apartment for 23 years? You automatically start personalizing it, because you know that it's you at the end of the day that are going to be somewhere other than where you have been. And, I want to go. I don't even like this city anymore. I can't even get through the city from the traffic. People have, and when I talk about changing culture, people treat people differently now. It's not the same kind of city. And Alexandra, who did the film, closed the film with, has San Francisco lost its heart? And that's it, because this goes to the heart, this goes to the gut, being, and then somebody said, well, what do you think about this? And I said, well, at least I'm not walking down a dirt road in Syria with no shelter. You look at